A 10-year-old walks into a lab, gets handed a creature with the literal power to level cities, and the most qualified adult in the room says good luck, and goes back to his research notes. No cap, that's just Tuesday in the Pokemon world. By the end of this, you'll understand why being a starter Pokemon isn't a glow-up, it's a deployment order, and not a single one of them consented to any of it. Let's start with the most unhinged case of pre-employment trauma in franchise history, Charmander. Charmander is the fire lizard, the crowd favorite, the one everyone picks, and the one that, depending on the version, was already sitting alone on a rock having the worst day of its life before you even showed up. Some lore readings of the original games and the anime both suggest Charmander was straight up abandoned by a previous trainer, left in the rain with a tail flame that, according to multiple Pokédex-style entries, is literally tied to its life force. Flame goes out, Charmander goes out. So your starter, your day one ride or die, was already in a near-death situation caused by some other kid who simply didn't want to do the work. That's not an origin story, that's a rescue mission that nobody briefed you on. And then the ball closes and suddenly it's your problem now, bestie. Charmander's early game is genuinely rough too. Glass cannon energy. Struggles with the first. 2 gyms and you have to carry it through its flop era before it becomes Charizard, a fire and flying type hitting hard with Flamethrower and Dragon Claw with an ability called Blaze that makes it hit harder the closer it is to fainting, which is very much I only work well in crisis behavior. Tragic origin, absurd glow-up, zero say in any of it. Bulbasaur's situation is the opposite. Bulbasaur has been completely fine this whole time, and that's somehow more unsettling. It's literally number 1 in the Pokédex. It's the most strategically valid starter pick, and nobody chooses it because it looks like a frog that tripped and fell into a garden. But here's the actually unhinged part. That bulb on its back isn't an accessory, it's not a vibe. It's not optional. According to lore, Bulbasaur is born with the seed already fused to its body, a symbiotic relationship it never agreed to, with something that will slowly bloom and take over more of its form with every single evolution. It's also described in some entries as being viewed as strange or unusual even among other Pokemon, which means it's the weird kid in a world that already contains literal ghosts and sentient keys. In battle, it's actually a menace. Grass and poison typing, sleep powder to completely shut someone down mid-fight, leech seed to silently drain. Health every turn, and overgrow to boost its grass moves when it's low. It's the strategic pick that lives rent-free in your opponent's head. Stable life, permanent body mod, it didn't ask for, zero recognition. The Bulbasaur erasure is real, and it's been going on since 1996. Then there's Squirtle, and Squirtle's lore is genuinely sending me. Squirtle is the water turtle, the balanced pick, the safe choice, and canonically, at least in the anime, Squirtle was already running a gang before you arrived. The Squirtle Squad, delinquents with sunglasses, an actual organized crew that formed because they'd been abandoned by their trainers and had to build their own social structure from scratch. You didn't pick a starter, you recruited a former gang leader who was already thriving without you. The ball closes and suddenly the CEO of a whole operation is your first Pokemon. In battle, the Squirtle line is built different. Bulky water type, torrent ability, Blastoise mixing defense with serious offense, and the whole line scales well with rain support. But here's the first real plot twist of this video. None of them chose this. Charmander was surviving, Bulbasaur was out here living its best life in its village, Squirtle had a whole crew and a purpose, and then a 10-year-old showed up with a ball and a $5 budget, and that was that. The ball closes, and the life they had is just gone. No 2 weeks notice, no severance, nothing. Torchic looks like the most harmless thing that has ever existed and is absolutely hiding something. According to lore, Torchic has an internal flame hot enough to literally melt rock, which means when you hug it, and you're going to hug it, it's insanely cute, you're getting cooked slightly and choosing to stay. It evolves into Blaziken, a fire and fighting type that kicks so hard its kicks literally produce fire, and it has a hidden ability called Speed Boost that makes it faster with every turn that passes. So in competitive play, Blaziken goes from sure okay to this should be illegal in about 3 turns. Multiple competitive formats have just opted to ban it entirely, which is honestly the most respectful acknowledgement of a Pokemon's damage output I've ever seen. All of that starts from a fluffy little chick that could melt your hand. Cutest exterior in the franchise. Most unhinged interior. The Torchic to Blaziken pipeline is the Pokemon world telling you directly that vibes mean nothing. Froakie is where things get genuinely emotionally complicated, and I need you to stay with me. Froakie is a shy water frog, a little reserved, seemingly normal, and then it evolves and becomes so powerful and so bonded to its trainer that it literally starts sharing a nervous system with them. The Ash Greninja form from the Kalos arc isn't just a power-up, it's a full neurological sync where Ash feels every hit Greninja takes in real time. That's not a partnership, that's a medical situation that started because you caught a frog. And the canon treats this as extraordinary, something almost no trainer and Pokemon ever reach. And Ash's response to unlocking the rarest bond in the franchise is to release Greninja so it can go protect the region. Peak achievement, immediate goodbye. In battle, Greninja runs Protean, an ability that shifts its typing to match whatever move it uses next, making it genuinely hard to read and punish. Fragile but fast, high-skill ceiling the Pokemon. Equivalent of a Ferrari with no seatbelts. And here's the second plot twist. The stronger a starter gets, the more likely it ends up released, traded, or just left behind. Power is not job security in the Pokemon world. Greninja is the receipt. Rowlet seems like it might be the one that's actually okay, and I respect the optimism, but no. Rowlet is a round, sleepy grass owl, and it absolutely passes the vibe check on first impression, but it evolves into Decidueye, a grass and ghost type, a silent assassin that fires literal spirit arrows and can trap opponents in place with a move called Spirit Shackle. And then the Hisuian version goes full brawler, grass and fighting type, which lore-wise reads like the exact same Pokemon being fundamentally reshaped by a different region's energy. Same species, different damage. The long reach ability lets Rowlet's line attack without making physical contact, which sounds graceful until you think about it for 2 seconds and realize it's just really good at killing things from a distance without leaving evidence. Rowlet seems fine, the ball's still closed, and here's the third and final plot twist that the games will never say to your face. The Pokédex has been cataloging all of this. The life force flames, the fused seeds, the gang histories, the shared nervous systems, and it has never once asked if any of them were good with the arrangement. Neither has the professor, neither has the 10-year-old. Nobody asked, that's the lore. You just pick a ball, and that's the start of someone else's whole story. Charmander had a life before you, Squirtle had a crew, Greninja had a bond that cost something real, and every single one of them got assigned to a kid who couldn't legally drive, standing in a lab that smelled like old books, about to walk into the most dangerous journey in the region with no HR department and no exit interview. The ball closes. Main character moment for the trainer. For the starter, that was just a regular Tuesday becoming something they never got a vote on. Child Soldier is dramatic, but nobody asked them, and that's not a theory, that's just the game.